My name is Caitlin Dreckman, and I'm a graduate student at Morningside College, and I'm also the curriculum coordinator, ELL coordinator, and mentor induction coordinator at MMCRU. I'm going to present to you my research on the effects of inquiry-based learning in science lessons on reading and vocabulary assessments for elementary English language learners. The ELL population in the United States is growing. There was an increase of over 1 million ELL students from 2000 to 2015, according to the National Center for Education Statistics. In 2015, it was reported that there were 4.8 million ELLs in public schools. ELLs were 9.5% of the students kindergarten through 12th grade. In Iowa, the ELL population has doubled from 2001 to 2012. ELLs now make up 5% of the student population in Iowa. ELL students do not perform at the same level as their non-ELL peers on national assessments, especially in the area of reading. Nationally, on the fourth grade reading assessment, 72% of non-ELL students score at basic or above level, where on the same test for ELL students, only 31% of students score at basic or above level. Many ELL students spend the majority of their time in the general education classroom, where teachers lack training in ELL-specific strategies. In Iowa in 2012, there were only 466 certified ELL teachers for the state's 23,820 ELL students. Iowa's certified ELL teachers accounted for only 1.3% of the teaching population, while ELLs in Iowa schools accounted for 5% of the state's student population, according to the Iowa Department of Education. This translates to Iowa's ELL population having a 1 to 50 student-to-teacher ratio, which means students likely spent very little time with highly qualified ELL instructors. 77% of teachers have no coursework or professional development in working with culturally and linguistically diverse students. Therefore, strategies and techniques are needed to help improve student learning for ELLs during classroom instruction with their peers. I chose this topic to research because there is a small yet growing population of ELL students in our rural district, and it's really important for us to find strategies that can be done in the classroom with their general education teachers, because we can only pull students for about a half an hour each day. Extensive vocabulary is an important part of academic success. Vocabulary is a key component of oral language and can contribute to reading, comprehension, fluency, and phonological awareness. Without an adequate vocabulary, students are unable to have the literacy skills needed for many academic areas. Tabota's 2011 study of 93 fifth grade ELL students investigated the effects of vocabulary on science reading comprehension and found a correlation of 0.764 for science vocabulary and reading comprehension, and a correlation coefficient of 0.768 between general vocabulary and reading comprehension. Straight, Stone, Beltrain, and Furtado found that a lack of academic vocabulary can hinder an ELL's ability to succeed in content areas such as science, and can result in being taught content that is below grade level. Just because an ELL's language may be below proficient, that doesn't mean their thinking is below grade level, and in an effort to meet their language needs, teachers may inadvertently replace their work with less challenging work. Calderon et al. Asserted that it is important to challenge ELL students academically with grade-appropriate content regardless of their language level. Without adequate challenge, ELLs will continue to underperform on assessments. Inquiry-based learning is an approach that is being used to teach Common Core standards in content areas such as science. It is a strategy where students engage in science through authentic problem solving that helps them to learn the skills necessary for them to become future scientists. Looking for strategies that are effective with both students who are ELLs and native English speakers can help make learning in the general education classroom more effective for ELL students, while also providing content that is at grade level. Inquiry-based learning may be a strategy that can help us do that. Grade level instruction is important for providing educational equity for ELL students, as well as helping them close the proficiency gap with their peers. This research fills a gap where there is little research done in rural Midwest schools with a strategy that can be implemented with both ELLs and non-ELLs. The purpose of this study was to examine the influence of using inquiry-based learning with ELL students on improving content vocabulary and fluency in the area of science. My hypothesis was that using an inquiry-based learning approach, such as the Mystery Science curriculum, would increase the science vocabulary, knowledge, and fluency of ELL students. The independent variables in my study was the Mystery Science inquiry-based learning curriculum. The dependent variable were the FAST scores and vocabulary knowledge scale scores of my ELL students. Mixed methods research was used to determine the impact of using inquiry-based learning instead of traditional explicit vocabulary instruction to improve science vocabulary. The results of this study can be used to help teachers make instructional decisions about how using strategies like inquiry-based learning may be beneficial to both ELL and non-ELL students in their classroom. With many teachers not trained in ELL strategies, training and using an inquiry-based learning strategy for the general education classroom would not require any additional ELL training, which can be a more efficient use of our time. This is especially important in areas with low concentrations of ELL students. In these schools with low concentrations of ELL students, ELLs often spend the majority of their time in general education classrooms. So the results may help educators continue to find ways to teach ELLs at grade level with their peers, regardless of their language proficiency in a general education classroom. Mixed methods qualitative research was used for the study after the initial number of participants decreased due to experimental attrition. As a result, 2 eligible participants were used as case studies in this study's convergent parallel design. The participants in this study were 2 11-year-old ELL students, 1 female, 1 male student, both Hispanic speakers from Honduras. Students were selected for this study based on their qualification as an ELL student according to the TELPA screener that was administered to them during the 2017-2018 school year. Neither student was in special education, but participant A was below grade level, and therefore elementary 4th grade science curriculum was appropriate for both students. The participants were the only students eligible based on the criteria for this study. Both students were part of the free and reduced lunch program, and both students live in the same household and are similar in age, but were placed in different grade levels by their parents or the school district. Participant A was placed in 6th grade, and participant B was placed in 4th grade. Both students were familiar with the researcher prior to this study as their ELL teacher and test coordinator. Both participants also gave consent and were explained the confidentiality of the data collected. There were no incentives given in this study. An Acer Aspire was used to view each of the Mystery Science lessons, and an iPad mini was used to record each of the sessions. The Mystery Science curriculum was viewed online over the school's wireless internet. A variety of materials were used during the Mystery Science lessons, which included items such as worksheets, as well as typical classroom construction materials such as paper, cardboard, rubber bands, and paper clips. For participant B's fast progress monitoring, pen and pencil was used by the classroom teacher to record the words missed, and then it was later entered into the data system by the classroom teacher. The stories that were read come from the fast progress monitoring binder that is given to each school district. For the vocabulary assessment, students were surveyed using a vocabulary knowledge scale to self-evaluate their vocabulary knowledge on the 20 targeted vocabulary words. This was given to students on a Google form, either by this researcher or by the other ELL teacher. Each participant was given a pre, mid, and post-study vocabulary knowledge scale. This scale was created by Wesche and Parabach in 1996 and was found to have a correlation coefficient of over 0.90 between the learner's self-reported knowledge and the actual knowledge of vocabulary, indicating reliability. Participants were also recorded and observations were taken and coded. It is valid for the purpose of this study in that it allows for both self-report and recognition and also demonstrated use of vocabulary knowledge. Participant B was also monitored using the fast progress monitoring with her regular classroom teacher. According to the National Center on Intensive Intervention, the inter-rater reliability coefficient ratings for the FAST CMBR were from 0.97 to 0.98 for students in 1st through 6th grade in their sample. The alternative form test was given the reliability coefficient of 0.74 to 0.83 for grades 1 through 5. Each Mystery Science lesson began with a video and was guided by video throughout the lesson, pausing for discussion questions. The video also explained all of the directions for each activity and often showed students how the activity should work. Overall analysis of both the qualitative and quantitative data suggests a confirmation of the hypothesis that using an inquiry-based learning strategy such as a mystery science curriculum increased student content vocabulary knowledge. Because there were only 2 participants in this study, statistical analysis could not be completed with the results. However, both students were able to show vocabulary growth. The first table shows participant A's vocabulary knowledge score mean scores as well as how they scored on each individual word. You can see that from the pre to post scores, they increased their mean from 1.5 to 1.75. Participant 2's vocabulary knowledge skill mean scores are on the right. You can see that her scores increased from 3.55 to 4 in her post study. Participant A never actually used any vocabulary, but exhibited behaviors that indicated knowledge of vocabulary concepts, while participant B correctly used 40% of the targeted vocabulary in the lessons. This is what is shown in the table below. Participant B showed an upward trend in her FAST scores with an overall increase of 17 words per minute over the course of the study, which is seen in the second table. As a result of the study's observations, this researcher began coding engagement levels according to the instructional practices inventory levels. Participant A's engagement levels varied greatly depending on the activity and the part of the lesson. His engagement levels ranged from 1 to 6 throughout the 10 lessons with a mean of 3.3. Participant B's engagement levels ranged from 3 to 6 throughout the 10 lessons with a mean of 4.5. This research reinforced the importance of teaching vocabulary embedded within content-rich instruction. It also supported Moses' research that inquiry-based learning allows ELLs to actively engage in reading, discussion, and observation while learning science content. This study fit within Jean Piaget's constructivism and Krashen's acquisition learning hypothesis. Piaget asserted that children develop their ideas based on experience. Therefore, the ELLs in the study may have been able to increase their vocabulary knowledge due to the experiences that they had while completing the lesson. It also supports Krashen's hypothesis in that it provided students with opportunities to learn vocabulary without direct vocabulary instruction. The implications for students from this study is that it will allow students to be taught at grade level with their peers if inquiry-based learning can help them learn vocabulary in the content areas. Teachers could possibly use inquiry-based learning strategies with all students and not require a lot of ELL-specific strategy training. Parents could use this study and its findings to advocate for classroom-based inquiry-based learning strategies where students are taught at grade level with their peers. And finally, administrators and curriculum directors could use this to advocate for instruction that supports the learning of language-diverse classrooms. The study had 5 limitations that could be considered when doing future research on inquiry-based learning and its effect on vocabulary of ELLs. First of all, the results cannot be generalized because it was a case study. Secondly, literacy data is not provided for both participants, so no connection can be made between vocabulary and literacy skills. There's only a limited time given for qualitative analysis, which really would need a longer amount of time. The disparity between language levels and their effect could have had an effect on the results. Inquiry-based learning strategies should be tested in a general education classroom in order to test their ability in those situations. It would also allow for interaction with native English-speaking peers. The recommendation is that future research should be done with larger populations of students so that quantitative analysis could be done with the results. I think the research should be completed with a connection between inquiry-based learning and literacy skills, so they need to provide data for all participants as far as literacy is concerned. They need to include a longer time frame, and they also should include larger numbers of students and more diverse language levels so that they can either look at how it affects all English language learners or at a specific language level. Also need to complete future studies in the general education classroom.